Today we are back and working on the Supra once again, and we are putting in an exhaust, but it's more than just that. Now, if you guys remember, to just about a year ago at this point, actually, we had an exhaust put on the Supra. I put on a catback, and I also installed headers, but I ended up taking those headers off. I think I may have mentioned it, but what happened was essentially there was no clamps that came with the headers kit, and so it's a two-piece header, and the two pieces just fell apart, so I just couldn't run it because it would keep falling apart, but I didn't know that I actually needed clamps. So I got the headers again with clamps, and a company named Jet Hot reached out to me, and they said they could do something that's really cool to the headers. Let me show you. Hey, the clamps are in here. Who knew? Not me, apparently. Sweet, they're all individuals. Oh, this would be great for lighting fires. Here's one piece, here's the other. There was a whole lot of paper in that box. Look at these headers. Oh my goodness, they are so gorgeous. And yes, they're orange, copper more specifically, but this is the cool part about these headers. Now, if you saw by the title, yes, I painted my exhaust, and it's this. I got them orange, but there's something incredibly cool and specific about this coating. So as you can see, this coating is a little textured, and the reason for that is the fact that this coating isn't just a color coating, but it actually works as heat shielding. That's right, this paint actually is a replacement for heat wrap. Like, I'm not joking on this. This actually will replace heat wrap, so you don't need to wrap your exhaust for this. And this coating can be put on exhaust, it could be put on intakes or anything, but I had it done for the headers because, well, the last time I tried to do them, I had to heat wrap them, and it was a pain in the butt, and it was falling off anyway, despite the headers falling apart. And now this will suffice for that, and it looks so good. I gotta choose what color I want. They have so many different color options. It's amazing. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. There's so much to tell you about these headers, but let's go ahead and get a sound test and start installing them, and I'll tell you guys more as we continue on. To my head gasket, I guess. We got our baseline set, now we have the car in the garage, and it's time to start pulling everything apart. We're going to start by taking the intake off and then dismounting the headers, and then we're going to jack up the car and disconnect it from the rest of the catback system, so then we could install the rest of the headers. Funnily enough, these headers almost already look like they're painted red, but they're not. That's just rust. Let's replace them with something that's actually red. Now, the way that this works is you can go ahead and send out your exhaust or any other part, including your intake, over to Jet Hot, and they'll put on the coating for you. And then once they're done, they'll ship it back. But it's so much more than just a color or even just thermal management. It also helps prevent corrosion and can even reduce friction. The guys over there are super helpful, so if you have any questions, all you need to do is just go over to the website, which is linked down below, shoot them a message, and they can help walk you through the process of getting a coating for your application and what is the best that suits your needs. So we have the old headers pulled out now, and here's a little side-by-side comparison to the new ones that we have in the front here. Now, they are actually the same length. These pieces just aren't connected, so it perspective-wise looks like this one is longer, but it's the exact same. You can see the biggest thing that is different is the fact that these are long tube headers, so it isn't until this point right here that they all connect to one pipe. Meanwhile, for these headers, it's right up here when they connect. Just makes the source just a little more efficient, which will give us a little more power. I don't expect actually feeling any more power. I expect more torque, if anything, just a little quicker response. But nonetheless, this will change the sound more than anything else that it does. But of course, the real reason that these headers are better is that they already come essentially with a heat coating on them. I mean, all of this orange on here actually holds the heat in. Areas like right up here connecting directly to the head, you can't get heat wrap on that, but you can with this. You can get in every nook and cranny, even on the inside of each individual pipe, so you're not just wrapping the entire headers, keeping the heat away from the rest of the engine bay, but you're holding in each individual pipe as well. If you really wanted to go overkill, you could wrap this in heat wrap as well, but I don't need to because this absolutely covers it. Another cool option is you can get this in any color you want. Now, I chose to get it in a copper orange because I just thought it looked cool, but you can get it in red, black, satin, whatever you want. It's gonna add a super cool accent once we can get it inside the car. So that's our next step that we have to do. Let's go ahead and connect these two pieces together and throw it in the car. One final thing I want to mention about Jet Hot coatings is that you could apply them to anything. Take turbos, for example. Oftentimes you'll see someone with a turbo blanket, but that could cause issues because it hides the turbo and can start smoking. Whereas with Jet Hot coatings, you can not only see the turbo, but you can coat it with whatever color you want and make it pop just that much more. Headers on. See how it sounds. And the jump pack's dead. Looks like we're trying again tomorrow. Heck me. that engine, other than ignore it. Well, there we have it. Brand new headers put on the Supra, and it makes a huge difference to the sound. It's a whole lot less raspy and sounds so much more like a race car in my opinion. Plus, it just looks nice to get the Supra out of the garage for the first time in a while. It's kind of just been sitting on the side just because of the heating issue, but nonetheless, it does still look pretty good. Look at this. It's my arch nemesis. Stay away from my shoes. All right. Meow. Well, this isn't all that we're doing today because we have stuff now to do on the van. So as you guys know, this van obviously has a lift kit and a front bull bar on, and the next thing that we have to put on this car are front fog lights. Now my dad got me some for Christmas and they've been sitting around and I haven't put them on, but today's the day that we're finally going to do that. We also have some other maintenance to do, but the fog lights is where we're going to start. Let's go ahead and hop inside and take a look at those fog lights really quick before we install them. So here's the light bar kit that we have, and as you can see, there's 3 different pieces to it. There's going to be the one in the center bar that we're going to put right across the ram bar in the front. These ones on the side, I'm currently going to put in my fog light spot. Eventually I'd like to get a roof rack and stick them up on there, but for the time being, we're going to go ahead and put them down on the bottom, and then we can rewire it later when we're going to go ahead and mount them up on the roof rack. Eventually when we get that, which is sometime down the road. I don't know when, but I want to have them on in the meantime because since we're already going to be attacking the wiring, there's no point in just not wiring those up while we have the chance. Like sitting on a shelf, they're not going to do anything. We're going to have to put them up top anyway eventually, so might as well just put them on now, so that way, I don't know, it's just, they're getting used. I want to use them. So essentially this is the kit that we have. This one is going for the middle. These ones are going for the side in the fog light section. Here's our wiring harness, which is nice that it already comes with this. In addition, it comes with a wiring diagram as well, which makes things extremely easy. I love having these wiring diagrams. Honestly, it makes everything a piece of cake. If you have any experience with wiring, it makes it so much easier. And in addition, this is simple as can be. Everything is already there. Plug things into positive, negative, plug it into the light bar itself and call it good. So anyway, with that quick look at the kit, let's go ahead and hop outside and start mounting this up. So now that you guys have seen the light bar and everything, let's go ahead and show you guys the plan of attack. To start off looking at this front bumper, there's actually holes already in the bar where there's going to be a spot to mount the front light bar. So it actually makes it very easy. So right there and right there, there's little plugs that we could just pop out and pop the screw through and mount the light bar to. It'll work perfectly for getting that one done. So that one's essentially done just like that. As I mentioned, I want to put the circle lights in these fog lights here. Yes, it's not going to be fully working to the full extent of getting the light power, but nonetheless, since it is only temporary, I don't mind too much, and I actually still want to pursue putting them down there. But before we do all that, I'm going to go ahead and pull the front bumper off. It's just held on by clips. It's super easy. This will give me more access to the front bar here, and in addition to that, this will actually make it much easier to make mounts for the circle fog lights that we're putting in as well. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off, get everything mounted up, and we'll meet back for the wiring. So we have it all mounted up now, and it's solid and it looks pretty good, honestly, but now it's time to just go ahead and start attacking the wiring. The van looks so much better with the light bar in the front. I'm so excited to get this up and going and functional, but here's what the wiring is going to look like, because we have to make only one modification, which is really nice. So the wiring harness came with this, and then one more down here, sections where we can go ahead and connect it up to the lights. Now we do need to add one more. We're going to splice off this end right here in order to adapt for the fog lights on the side, because there are 2 fog lights, but it only has the connections for 2 lights, because I think it's thinking to have one on the side, on the other side, or just have one in the middle. So it gave you the option for 2 of them, but not for 3. And we're having 3 lights. So that's our next plan of attack. We're going to go ahead and start wiring everything up, get the relay mounted, get the wires routed to the positive and negative on the battery, and then we'll go ahead and test it before we put the switch inside. So that's the next thing we have on our list to do. Let's go ahead and get some wiring done. We got a whole lot done today on the van. We got the new lights on. It looks amazing. I actually went and got an alignment so it drives straight and doesn't shake for the first time in ever. So that's nice. And then of course, just working on the Supra. Anytime we do something small, it makes such a huge difference, and I love it so much. The car sounds so much better with these headers on. It may not be quite as noticeable on camera, which always is a bit of a bummer, but it sounds so much smoother and a lot more aggressive without having that nasty Honda rasp that so many cars have without a proper exhaust. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I post contests like this twice a week, once on Wednesdays, which I know I'm late. on this one, and then once on Saturdays as well, which I hopefully won't be late on that one. Also, check the link in the description at philosupra.com for new merch that's coming out. We have the new Miata shirt as well as all the old designs up there from before, including this sweatshirt. So take a look down below. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.